Hi, welcome back to my channel, Garlina Learns. And on this channel, I am just documenting all the things that I've been learning. I try to learn every day. And today, I am still working my way through the freeCodeCamp curriculum. Right now, I'm in progress with the module Responsive Web Design Certification. My goal is to hit that, complete that by the end of this month, March 31st. It is March 8th, so it's a pretty aggressive timeline, but that's my goal. And so far, I am about, let's see, I got 3 out of the 8 done. I just finished up the applied visual design, and it was 52 lessons. That was pretty meaty, um, but after a while, after you get like 3/4 of the way through, it started making sense to me. So today, I'm just going to go over 3 things that I learned in the APE Applied Visual Design, and show a few videos on that. And so the things that I wanted to do today are talk about using the CSS property to transform scale items and elements when you hover over them with the mouse. The second thing is I wanted to talk about creating a textured background, and the last one would be to create a graphic using CSS. So let me get started on the first one. So before I pull up the freeCodeCamp curriculum, I just wanted to go over how I've been taking notes. I started to use my OneNote with Windows because I was taking notes, writing it on pen and paper, and it just kind of takes a long time. And one of the things that I wanted to work on was my keystrokes. So like when you're hitting these like these parentheses, and I guess I don't really quite know the names of some of them. The semicolon, I think, and the yeah, well, this guy here. Anyways, but my fingers are quite used to hitting those, so I had to. I think by typing it into my notes, it kind of helps me get used to the rhythm. And yeah, that's just something I wanted to talk about was um, practicing hitting those keystrokes. So the first one I wanted to go over was the transform scale, and when you hover over it, it can change the size of it. And that what it does is I drew a little picture here, but for example, the normal size stick figure, when you put in the code and I run the mouse over, it would make it bigger. So let's see what that looks like when you type it in. And it's right here. Okay, so here it is. Here's the code. So you'll be using hover and transform and scale. And then where it says 2.1, you would just put in whatever size you want it to scale to. What I noticed on this example is that this actually doesn't get big, the box. It should, so that you could see, um, when you run the test, it will say you did it correctly, even though you can't really see. So I'm gonna type in the code, and the example says P, but we're doing div, so it's gonna be div, and then the semicolon, I guess, and hover, and then parentheses bracket, and then I'll put transform scale, and they want to make it 1.1 times its original size, so 1.1, and then close it and see if it takes it. Gotta go fast. Looks like I got it. Alrighty. Okay, so the next example I wanted to do was creating a textured background, and what you do in this one is you have a blank background, and so like your blank web page or whatever, and you would change the background to be textured or a picture or graphic and so on. And again, I made notes. I added my code in here. And we're working in CSS, so the style, pretty much the style brackets, and you just plug in everything in here, and that's how you're gonna design your page, I guess, is how I understand it. So here's the CodeCamp, and this is the problem you'll work on, and here is the blank screen on this side, and what they want is to plug this web address into here, into the body, and then it will change it into the textured background. Since I don't want to mess up the code here, I'm just gonna copy and paste it, but I will type in the correct property. So background, and then colon, and then we have to put URL, and then I'm gonna copy this code right here and paste it inside the parentheses. Alright, there we go, it changed, and there's like a swirly background back here. Let's run the test. Plus ultra, awesome. Okay, that was creating a textured background. And on to the last one. Okay, so the last one on my list to go over today is the create a graphic using CSS. And I thought this one was pretty cool. I had fun doing this exercise. But pretty much what you're going to do is you have two objects, the square and a blur. And by making a few adjustments, you can turn it into this moon shape. And what you'll be doing here is you're going to be adjusting the background, so the green, and then you'll adjust the radius, and you'll use the box shadow property. And so I highlighted these three things, and with the box shadow, the note I made for myself was when you plug in the code, each of the four things, like 25px, 10px, 0px, and 0px, stands for offset x, offset y, blur radius, and spread radius. And so I made this note because you need offset x and offset y, but the other two are optional. So when you use this code or this property, it's good to keep that in mind. And I guess if you're not using it, you would just plug in 0 for it. And I don't think you can leave leave it blank. I think you have to just plug in 0. So let's go to the exercise, pull that up, and here we are. The first thing you want to do is probably read through all of this, but I'm just going to cut to the part where it tells us what to do. And what we're going to do first is change the background color to transparent. So right here, I'm going to put that at transparent, and then and then change the border radius to 50% to make a circular shape. Okay, so we can change it from 0 pixels to 50%. So notice the unit change from pixels to percentage. And for the last part, we're going to do the box shadow. And the numbers they have for that, they want the offset x to be 25, which it is, the y to be 10, and the blur radius and the spread radius to be 0, and change the color to blue. So 0 and 0, and then blue. Oops, that's how you spell it. Okay, there we go. And then I hit run test, and this is just what you would check off. Make sure the you read the. Oh, we messed up something. Property should be set to transparent. Did I misspell that? Yeah, I misspelled that. Okay. Ride like the wind. Nice. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to just mess around with these numbers and see what they do. like 100%. What does that do? I don't I don't think it did anything. But 50%. Oh, that made it L shape. 0% is that. 50%. So I just like to play around with the numbers and just kind of experiment, and I think it definitely helps me like get the idea of it. Okay, well, that was it. I went over the three things I wanted to share about what I learned today. And again, it was it wasn't too bad. And thank you to freecodecamp.org. Because of that, because of them, I can learn to code for free. All right, thanks.